Welcome to the recap show on the Baseball Awakening podcast with Geoff Rottmayer. Today we will discuss the lessons learned and the action items from yesterday's interview.
Hey guys, this is Geoff Rottmayer with the Baseball Awakening recap show, where I share with you the biggest takeaway that I got from my conversation the last couple of days with Dr. Bill Harrison, as well as share how I plan to implement what I've learned with my players that I train at my academy in Tulsa, Oklahoma. But again, remember, before I get started, I want to hear from you guys because different things mean different things to different people. So it would be interesting to see how you guys interpreted something that Dr. Bill said the last couple of days, as well as what I'm going to say today. And I'm going to make a show reading off your emails because we can all learn something from it. So with that, my email again is going to be Geoff, Geoff, at baseballawakening.com. So send me your thoughts, your comments, or your feedback. All right, so this conversation with Dr. Bill was awesome. I learned a lot. There's so much information in this conversation that is worth listening to several times. It makes this recap show tough because I did learn so much, and there's a lot of different things that could be implemented. So after Dr. Bill shared with us his story, the very first question I asked him was about seeing the ball and how it's assumed that a player knows what this means. You know, the how-to part of seeing the ball isn't a big enough focus, I believe. Think about it. How much time do you spend with your players talking about seeing the ball? Or how about training it? So here's how we do it. You know, first, as Dr. Bill said, you have to make it a top priority. So you need to have sessions where you're working on the mechanics and all that stuff, but you also need sessions where you put all of that aside and just focus the entire time on seeing the ball. So what does this session look like? What we do is we put away all the mechanics talk, and all we're going to talk about is what we're seeing, how we're seeing it, where we're looking, and all that stuff. And then we follow Dr. Bill's suggestion of keeping the eyes relaxed and keeping the eyes moving. And then we tell our guys how to be at the right place at the right time. So what does this mean, and how do we tell our guys to do that? Well, we follow Dr. Bill's suggestion in that we use our peripheral vision to see the pitcher going through the delivery. And then we use our central vision to zoom in on where the ball is going to be released. So to use Dr. Bill's example, if the pitcher is thrown from over the top, as he moves down the hill, the release point is going to be at the armpit. So the peripheral vision is going to see the pitcher moving, and your central vision is going to zoom in on the release at the armpit height. We got to tell them this. Now that I'm done playing and I understand this concept, I see the ball better now than I did when I played. And maybe I should say more consistently. That's some great information right there. You know, this is what I have done with my guys, and the guys that take it seriously are seeing great results. The guys are getting so lost in the baseball that they don't even know what they're doing. They're just seeing it and reacting. This can be trained. It must be trained. I would refer to Dr. Bill's slowthegamedown.com on his training protocol. But what I'll do too is I'll also include a PDF in my show notes on the vision work that we do here at my academy. So as we go on in the conversation, I asked Dr. Bill, how do you teach visualization? And he said, you know what? I like the term visual thinking better. And this refers to the concept of seeing yourself hitting a pitch or receiving a ground ball and making a throw. So I asked, how do you train that? And he said it was tough. And I assume it's because, you can't see what someone is thinking. You can't measure visual thinking. And the first thing he said was, you got to make them aware of it. You want them to develop the habit of replaying any successful action that you have on the baseball field or in the cages or in the bullpen. But when you are in batting practice and you see the ball well and hit it well, he wants you to try and have an outer body experience and see yourself repeating what you saw and what you felt in that swing. But he also said it was important not to overanalyze it. It's just as simple as replaying it and store it for future use. The concept of using it for future is what he refers to as pre-playing. So pre-play is an action you take prior to getting into the batter box. So, he said that it doesn't guarantee results, but he never had anybody complain when he presents this concept to him. So I liked it because, you know what? Now it takes away the mindless work in the cages, in the bullpen, and taking ground balls. Replaying and pre-playing develop the habit so you can use it to your advantage at a later date. And also so you don't overthink what you're doing. So what am I having our guys do? Exactly that. I want them to pause before their next swing or their next throw, and I want them to replay the good throws and the good hits. And then I want them to pre-play that before their next swing and their next throw. Try it. I think there's something to it. Again, for the guys that buy in, I'm seeing things. So as we go on into the conversation, now Dr. Bill talks about understanding the task at hand. And I really liked it, and it needs to be communicated with players. His examples were the task of hitting. So what's the task of hitting? It's seeing the ball really well and making solid contact, or seeing the ball really well and taking a pitch properly. That's the task of hitting. The task of pitching is to make a quality pitch to a specific target. This is awesome, and I feel this needs to be taught to all players. And so there's so many different parts to the game. There's so many different tasks. I have a task in my show notes, a PDF of the many different parts of the game and what I believe should be the task of each of those assignments. Now, later on as we go on, we're having this awesome conversation. Now we're talking about having good vision while sitting in a chair looking at a clarity chart and realizing that it's not the same thing as seeing the baseball coming at you 90 miles an hour with movement. So ensure if baseball is what you want to do, you need to find a sports vision doctor, or better yet, go make a visit to Dr. Bill. Because remember, not any old doctor is going to understand what a sports vision doctor does. And there isn't a ton of them out there. Look, man, I'm trying to find some around here in my region. So you got to do some research and you got to find the guys, the right guy. And it'll be worth it. You know, vision work is not sexy, but it's super important. Dr. Bill had a long list of guys that he had trained who have had a ton of success at the big league level using his process. That includes Barry Bonds, George Brett, Lou Piniella. We can go on and on and on. I wish we could see more big leaguers going through this process. We see them take batting practice. We see them throwing. But you don't see them working on their vision. You don't see them working on their visual thinking, which is a shame, because if you saw how seriously they took that into their training, you would have a different appreciation for it. I can go on and on and on about this conversation. But the last thing I'm going to share with you, I asked Dr. Bill, can one get to 100% in seeing the baseball? And he said you can get close if you make it a top priority. So, folks, if we want to be a better player, we need to build vision training into your session. You need to have days where you're focusing 100% on just seeing the ball. Here we are. We're in Tulsa. We're in Oklahoma. The high school guys, they're kind of getting ready for their season the next month or so. So my high school guys, basically, we've turned over to our focus to just seeing the ball and letting the body react. We've had a great off season, but now it's time to just let go, see the ball, and let the body work. Awesome. Guys, again, I love this conversation with Dr. Bill. I would encourage you guys to listen to it over again. I've listened to it about 10 times already as I record this recap show. So, thank you for tuning in, and we'll catch you next time.